All right, it is time for pre-market prep at the close.
Three consecutive highs, opened, matched yesterday's low, and then once it took out there, that's all the breakout momentum traders needed.
Well, Joel, something just happened there a minute before we were going live. We were at all-time highs.
What did you do?
We were at all-time highs. We were
there. We were knocking on the door, folks. I even went to a 1 minute chart for your viewing pleasure here.
Yeah.
As I had a resting order out at 86.75, the all-time high made on Friday. Kaplooey! We just tanked 10 handles, and you know what? We're not going down yet. And Spencer, you mentioned potential imbalances, but they usually publish earlier. We got something going on, folks. We got some selling going on, some good old-fashioned selling. Pre-market low, that's going to be the question. Will we get to the pre-market low at 63.75? I'm not that bearish. I'm bearish, but I'm not that bearish. We'll figure it out. We'll get the news here first. I'm sure they're banging it out on Benzinga Pro right now. All-time closing high, man. That was a dream. 76.50. That was our former all-time closing high, and now we're dwelling in the middle 41.70 handles. So let's see what happens. We'll get that information, and we'll bring it to you as soon as we have it. Crude. Big old range in crude. That's down 27 cents at 61.87. Gold in the green, just a $15 range, trying to get to 1,800. That's up 350 at 17.81.30. Silver, that's up 16 cents at 26.23.5. And Bitcoin, really not far off where we spoke about it this morning, up $3,115 at $53,960, $500 off the high of the day. I looked at 55,000. I kind of had that because that was old, that was old support. But I figured my better number is a little bit higher than that. So I'll give that to you guys tomorrow morning. Spencer, what do you got for me?
Well, for the moment, Joe, I should say we have stopped going down. That was just a nice little 12-point flush. Just an old
nothing. Just another buy the dip opportunity.
The old 330 flush trick. I'm seeing a buy imbalance. I'm seeing a buy imbalance actually. So not sure what's going on there.
No. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe a fat finger. Do we want to blame it on a fat finger there? I'm not seeing anything. Obviously, CNBC will have the news for us tomorrow. Roku warns YouTube could be removed from platform.
That was this morning.
Kaplooey. I don't know. No leak on the Tesla numbers. That's not moving. I mean, I didn't really see what stocks moved down in that.
Wait. Does it have to do with this census thing? Hold on. I'm reading this as I
guess me and you are the only one that saw this. The only one that saw the decline. So no, we're back up. We hit 73 1/4. That's about as straight down 15-minute bars we've seen for a while, but buy the dippers are coming in. So no big deal. Nothing. Just another buy the dip opportunity.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I'm trying to get my damn Twitter to work, or my
Twitter. You going to Twitter?
No, I'm on my tweet deck.
Nothing.
What is there? So, I don't know.
Nothing. Just hit resistance, and someone came in. Little liquidation, not much. Right back up. We may make that all time.
Wait a minute. I wonder if it could be the census data that just came out. So the census just released its 2020. Like, I guess you can call it like a rebalancing. It's what it is, kind of. They're right. They're rebalancing based on population shifts. So that could have been it.
So what is it? What's it saying?
So let's see. So several states will be redistricted. Well, that's always happening anyway. Let's see here. It looks like, and I'm reading fast here. So California will lose a seat. New York, Illinois, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia will all lose one seat. This is in the House.
Really?
Texas will gain 2 new seats. Florida, North Carolina, Colorado, Oregon will all gain a seat. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, someone else mentioned in the chat. I mean, I just don't know. Yeah, more seat. I mean, if someone can calculate how that's going to affect the next election that fast and send the market down, then back up, then they're way smarter than I am. So who knows? We don't have an election coming for 2 years. So I don't know. I mean, I know that, changes in the House and Senate can have an impact on things, but boy, oh boy, to process that information that fast.
And so apparently, so I said New York is on the list of states that are losing a seat. They were 89 people short of not losing a seat. Like if they had 89 more people in their census, they wouldn't have lost a seat. But they're going to lose a seat now in the House, looks like, because those 89 people that they didn't get. Anyway, maybe that was it. I don't know. We back
nothing muffin, and nothing. Just a little break. 3:30 as we were coming on the show. So
yeah,
right now what we'll focus on for the rest of the session is 76.25. That's your all-time closing high, and we're back firmly above it. Now we can come back, and maybe that 86 isn't safe for now. That was the high and Friday's high. So a little bit of excitement, but right back where we were before we started the show.
You know what trade is on today, Joel?
What trade?
The Reddit trade.
Okay.
The Reddit Wall Street Bet trade is on. You can look at GameStop, you can look at AMC, or you can look at a stock we just spent like an hour looking at on the broadcast with David Green, MVIS, Microvision. This thing has been a beast today. Why is it up 45%? I don't know. Why not?
So you spent an hour looking at the same stock?
Not an hour. It was like
okay.
Yeah.
Microvision. Maybe should change the name to Macrovision and maybe a little bit higher. Boom. I guess I did see something. Didn't Fauci say some positive things? I thought I saw something on my Twitter feed. Yeah.
He's always saying some scary things. I don't know.
No, so maybe some positivity coming out of Fauci. I saw Bill Gates said, we're going to be out of this by the end of 22. I don't know if that's what people want to hear. Don't know what the deal is with this Microvision, but strong day on Friday. They jammed it today.
A short squeeze play again.
Short squeeze? Okay. Yeah. Well, we know how long they last. So new all-time high today, gap up and go. We'll keep an eye on that closing price. See what that will be our mark. We did come off the high. What's the high for the day? 27.18. Let's see if they can push it up, close it near that level. Also good volume, right? Let's see how our volume is here on the daily. Big volume day, I would assume, with this. Yeah. So we'll see. See if you get carryover in this till tomorrow. It doesn't look like it's done yet going down today. Someone mentioned AMC this morning. Yeah. Dennis said it looked a little bit sleepy. Consolidate. I just said I was neutral on it till it broke out of the top of that range. Where were these highs at? It was a sleepy day on Friday. Inside day broke above 1016, 1065. That was your 3-day high. $11 got better than 11, got to 1196. Another daily high there at 1193. So got to get this thing through $12 tomorrow. That's a big level, kind of just a trading range. Found support, found some Reddit buyers, and there you go.
That's all it takes. We will do some ticker time if we can get up to 100 likes. So let's get to that 100 like threshold, and then we'll do some ticker time. In the meantime,
holding the chat hostage to likes.
That's exactly right. I have no shame Joel. You know what's interesting here? This Skillz chart, this SKLZ. So
Yes, sir.
you're now up 66% in the last 4 days since it bottomed out at $12 a few days ago. It was at $12 on what was that, Wednesday? You got $20 now. So you've bounced hard.
Yeah, you had to bounce.
And the CEO was just on CNBC.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's clearing $20 here. You got to start thinking about some major retracements in this thing now. Now that it got up, looks like you had a bottom there. You had the big day when Sean was on, then you kind of had a digestion day when it got a little bit overdone in the pre-market. There you go. And then an inside day here on Friday broke out to the top. I'm not afraid. Great call by Sean. I talked to him earlier and he didn't mention this. I'm sure he's happy about it. Let's see if we can get a decent retracement here. I know I don't want to get you guys too excited here, but you got to do what you got to do when you're a technical analyst. And man, this thing's got a lot of room to go to even get back half of this move. That'll take you close to $30. Who knows when? 2025 air. I tell you, I wouldn't want to be short here. I'll tell you right now. Look at that. Not one went through this in 2 days. So stocks come down quickly through an area. They can go back up quickly through an area.
Joe, wondering how Tesla's behaving into their report today.
Folks. Oh, man.
They're one of these companies. Like some companies always report at the same time. Tesla's not. They might report at 4:10. They might report at 4:30. They might report at 5 or later. I don't know.
Look at this. This has to be one of the tightest range days in a while here. Oh, my Lord. 17-point range. I mean, you guys know I'm not, it's like throwing darts on these reports with things like that, but you can see clearly someone's been trying to access some stock at 750 here, 49.30 here, 49.41. Those are a couple highs. You go back a little bit farther. Nope. 2-3. I'll say right now on the report, 750. You get through there. I think you have shorts scrambling. You have a next daily high up at 80.79. Didn't close well that day. It closed at 32.23. And then on the downside, I'd have to go 750. I mean, couple lows. I know this one's just under 700, but that seems to be your major support. If you want to be play it a little bit closer to the belt and you're hoping for a little downstroke off the headline number, your 2 and 3 days lows split on 15.5 and 18.04. That's 2.5. Maybe go 1.25, maybe go 17. Maybe if you're trying to catch it, you got a little short on or you're long some puts, but there's 2 lows in the same area. And that 750 looks solid to me on the upside, barring what happens with the report. Agnes Crawley back in the chat. Hello, Agnes. How's Robert doing?
And it's not just Tesla. All the EV stocks are up today, whether you want to go to NIO, whether you want to go to even Nikola is up.
Nikola
7%. You've got Fisker.
What did I say about NIO this morning, folks?
Oh gosh.
What did I say?
I confess I don't remember.
I said it needed to hold 42. So I don't know if that did you much good when it went down to 40.86. The only thing looking at this in the rear view mirror, you had the higher open right here, this red bar. That's the open, and it came down. So what you're looking for when you get a stock, a higher open like that, you're like, where's resistance? Where's resistance? Or where's support? Where's support? Go to the closing price. Closing price 41.08, right? So it's coming down. You put your bid at 41.08, you get peppered, and then it goes to 40.86, and you're thinking, man, I was dumb. And then it comes ripping back up through 41.08, hits that high of 43.22. So the close was a good number. Didn't quite hold 42, but that was in the pre-market trading. But it came down, gave you a look at the close. What more can you ask for? This is the big area, though. I know I have $50 is marked there, but what are these highs right here? Man, you got 4 highs in a row. Let's just call it 4. I'm just going to ballpark at 46, but come on, we're at 43, so it might take a day or two to get there.
All right, we're doing ticker time. If we get to 100 likes, we're at 98, so we're 2 away from that threshold.
Every time you say that, it reminds me of
Okay.
elementary school.
We're over it.
And you say to your friend, hey, will you go ask Janie if she likes me? Yeah. And then if the friend was being mean, they'd go, you want to know if Janie likes you? And they'd scream it out and you get all embarrassed and everything. But that's what, every time you say that, I'll get the likes. That's what I think.
I need the validation. It's what gets me up in the morning. All right, let's do some ticker time here from the chat. Let's talk about, we did MVIS. We talked about Skillz. BNGO. I have not looked at this one today, so I do not know what it is doing.
Great symbol.
One of those high flyer, crazy volume names.
Is this a Reddit stock? Bio Nanogenomics. Big sell off. Came back. I mean, gave you a look here. Look at this. 4 days in a row. Boy, good that does you now. It really doesn't. 512, 513, 516, making new highs as we speak on pretty good volume. And this is not really, this is like the first day because yesterday was just a small up day. What do you got here? I mean, this one is not like one of my favorite stocks picking out a level, but if you have a short-term target, and I mean just tomorrow or whatever, got to look at the price action. I'm just going to call it $8. And the reason I do is because you had 4 highs between 778 and 823, 4 consecutive sessions. So what that tells you is someone wanted to sell stock at 8, right? But they didn't want to put a big old offer out there at 8 and have HFTs, stand in front of them. Yeah. So 8, that's what I'm looking at here. If you're looking for more, I mean, is there any news on this, or it's just a little bit of a spoon?
It's a crazy high flyer. Okay. Yeah, I guess they had some data on Friday, but it's a crazy mover. What about
Easy Mike says 8.25? I mean, yeah, easy. I mean, I can see the highest of that range is 823, settled at 817 that day. So my special formula doesn't have 8.25, but if you're looking at the highest of those series of highs, that's where it comes in at $8.
Good observation here from Spinner in the Benzinga.com chat. We talked about CWH this morning, Camping World, and that Bitcoin headline. Well, look at its peers like WGO, Winnebago, and THO, Thor Industries. They also are up nicely today.
That Camping World, huh? The big, now that's a Bitcoin play, huh? Follow through on that day on follow through to they move to, is this a new all-time high for well, I mean, if we listen to Mitch, we should just go buy as many campers as possible and we can rent them out, right? And make $60,000 a year on a $15,000 investment, right? Boy, 45 was a pesky level back
smart.
here.
That sounds smart, man.
In late 2017, that's what you did here. So it's testing. It took it out. It might not close over this, but the fact that you had 3 monthly highs and the all-time highs there, let's see if it can hang in there another day or two.
Gasparino was on Fox Business a few hours ago reporting that maybe Amazon's going to announce this week when they do their earnings, they're going to announce a stock split.
Oh my gosh.
And wait. But if that were to happen, and normally we don't care about those things, right? But if that were to happen, it would make them eligible for inclusion in the Dow. So
that is Charlie Gasparino is so 2000. Okay. I mean, we would say that. I mean, the whole I mean, that's breaking. Who put that on there? Who put that on there that's actually news?
I don't.
That they may split their stock.
I don't know.
That's news.
But look at the chart though. Look at the intraday, the 15-minute chart of Amazon, and tell me it's not news. You tell me it's not news. Look at the top left. Tell me it's not news.
Chuck moved it. Okay.
Yeah, Chuck moved it. Talk to Chuck next time.
Talk to Chuck. I mean, hey, if I'll give you the Dennis line in this one. if you're good at trading these kind of stuff and this kind of news, then go ahead and trade it. Then be aggressive. It worked today, right? It worked today. Look at this, bumping up against all-time highs, getting pretty darn close. So good day for Amazon. When do they report?
Thursday.
Thursday. Wow. So okay. Yeah, they might announce a stock split.
So here's the calendar for the week, right? We've got Tesla and NXPI tonight. Tomorrow morning, UPS, Triple M, Eli Lilly, the big ones. Tomorrow afternoon is where it gets crazy, right? So tomorrow afternoon, Microsoft, Alphabet, Starbucks, AMD, Visa, Pinterest. Wednesday, you can see right there. Actually, I want to pull up this stat for you if I can.
Crazy day.
This is from the Benzinga data team. They send these stats out to the company during earnings season. So Wednesday afternoon, after the close on Wednesday, there's 170 reports. Before the open on Thursday, the Thursday pre-market session, there's 171 reports. So in that one overnight session from Wednesday to Thursday, there is 371 companies reporting earnings. And you see there on the screen, right? Companies like Apple and Facebook, right? And eBay and McDonald's. And this doesn't even include Thursday afternoon, where it's like Amazon and Twitter, right? So
our earnings are automated now, right? All of them? Is it all like going into pro? I know they were working on that. If not, I was going to say Brent's going to have some sore fingers on that.
They're going to earn their keep this week, that's for sure.
Scott Harrison's been trying to get you all to look at View for weeks. Been on a run for days, and Goldman started coverage, reaching profitability with current project backlog. I don't know about Goldman. I don't know about their backlog.
Yeah.
But that's a nice looking chart. That's a big 4-day move. I'd go back and see if you have any kind of precedence with these kind of 4-day moves, what it did, on the 5th day. This is a newer stock here. The only number I can give you for today, 879 was your high on April 14th. 873 is your high today. So there's a level. There's some other pesky highs here. I don't know. Maybe hold out for 875 to 9. That's like a potential area of resistance, but that's a big run. Maybe if you're trying to protect profits, you had 1, 2, 3 higher highs, 3 higher lows, 3 higher closes. See how that streak goes. See if it breaks that streak, or even just try and calm down for a couple days, a little bit. But right now, I'm not really seeing any highs that I want to lean on, and just maybe wait for a congestion period, a little consolidation, an inside day, and then see what happens. If you're holding out for the whole enchilada, well, you got a way to go. 50% retracement of this big move here would take it back to $10. So not sure where your target is or what you're doing, but that's just really 3 good days. And just the way those lows are so far from each other, it can't continue. You just got to wait for it to slow down a little bit.
Joel, we are not the only people that noticed that sell-off at 3:30. I want to read a tweet from FX Macro, which is a good follow on Twitter. Just about, and this is from a minute ago, just about 32 minutes before the close, a large 1,000 name sell program.
I knew it. Yep. I knew it.
Someone just flipped the switch. Hit a market focused mostly on growth names. The sell-off quickly drove the Dow to session lows. So the uptick, the NYSE uptick downtick index also recorded a sharp drop of over 1,000 points. So yeah, someone just flipped a switch, I think, at 3:30.
And someone's getting reamed right now. Someone's cleaning out their desk.
Maybe.
Put a, it's supposed to be 100 million. Oh, I put 1 billion. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Guess what it kind of looked like? They brought it back up, shook the markets up, got back in the 4180 handle. I don't know if the algos are listening to me here, about 76.25. But boy, we are pressing. We are trying to get a new all-time closing high today. And it's going to be close. It's going to be close. Good levels up top, moving up to tomorrow. We can cover those in the morning show, and we'll see what Tesla does. Also, you don't know when they're going to report. So what else you want to look at, Spencer? We got a couple minutes left there.
Here's a really good question from Donkin Dave. Joel, I have a question. This is from Donkin Dave, and this is a tough question.
Okay,
for those of us that are still bag holding from the previous hyper growth stocks, if the market has turned, is it better to double down on those holdings, or hold and hope, or sell? Donkin, you didn't consider that. So double down, do nothing, or sell on the rebound. And that, Donkin Dave, is $1 million question. There is no right answer. If you figure that out, tell us. How about that? Donkin?
Do you think? Now, Donkin Dave, I'm just asking you this. Okay, you don't have to answer. Are you a bot? Because that's like a question that I.
What?
I don't know.
Thinks everyone's a bot.
Everybody's. Did you hear that bot that just came on the show right there? What do you think, Mitch? You think he's a bot or not?
Donkin Dave, don't take offense to that. Joel thinks everyone.
No. I don't know, because that's like such a complicated question. There's only geniuses like me on Wall Street could avoid it, like I do. Because you're talking about different issues. You're talking about market going up, market going down. First, I would say, what was your original plan in the stocks that you're in? Okay. Yeah. Second of all, don't double down. I mean, unless you have a plan. We've talked about that before. And I mean, these stocks, they're going to have a hard time coming back. I don't know. DocuSign.
He said he's not a bot, which is something a bot would say.
Yes, for sure. Bots are so tricky.
Not really sure about this, guys.
Like BT said, sell.
You know what? And plus we'll have to do some individual issues. If you want to do that, I am available for $500 an hour to cover the stocks that you're in, because it's so hard. But look at the zoomer here.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's an interesting chart to me. So I'm keeping an eye. The tops are not exactly together, but you're trading at the high of the session. 3 highs right here, right in the same area. What is this? 338. To me, those are the kind of charts I like. If it breaks out, also this high was 338, right? 337.80. You backed off. So if you traded something like that, who knows? You get an upgrade tomorrow, but man, that's a triple top is kind of rare there. And you also have matching bottoms on the downside at 328. Let's call it 328.75.
I saw someone mention MedMen real fast, which is MMN F. This is an uplist. They're uplisting.
They uplisted? I didn't know.
What do you got? You guys are you guys making up new stocks to try and throw me a curveball?
Listen. This is a psychedelics play. Mary Mary. Yeah, Mary. I don't remember the N. Neo, whatever, and then Ford. And this is an uplist. It's going to the NASDAQ. I'll be honest with you. This is part of. Oh no, not MedMen. MindMed. I'm sorry, MindMed.
Yeah, two different companies.
I'm sorry, that's my fault. Forget that. MMEDF. I screwed that one up. That's uplisting to the NASDAQ. Thank you, chat. And I'll be honest with you, this move right here in that stock, this is part of my thesis for why I own those 4 other cannabis stocks, right? Because this is what's going to happen. They all trade OTC. They're all going to uplist as soon as they can, legally, and this is what's going to happen.
Okay, so they make psychedelics?
Yeah.
I think someone was on psychedelics when they made up the name of this company.
Maybe, John. Maybe.
It's a strong trend, a strong 2-day move. Obviously, someone had the news a couple days ago. Hit $5 today, right? Is that the high at $5? $4.99. What's the high here? 507. So you have no business being short this thing if it breaks out over 5 new all-time highs. If 5 was your target just 3 days ago when you were scooping this up at 2.25, I encourage you to follow your original plan, but $5 looks like a big level.
All right. That's going to be a wrap for Joel. Guys, smash the like for him. We'll see you tomorrow morning, Joel. Try not to bother any robots tonight.
Sorry, Doc and Dave. I'm just giving you a hard time.
All right.
All right, guys.
All right.
Have a good one. Back with you in the AM.
All right. Let me bring on Edwin Dorsey here. And
give me 1 second so I can plug right quick.
Yeah, plug away.
All right, guys, a little bit later on today, we'll have Money Mitch. I'm going to be talking about the Tesla earnings. I'm going to be talking about the best airline stock right now and 2 sports stocks to keep in mind that could be coming out and could be making moves in the next couple of months.
I know the airline. I'm going to have to watch and see if
I mean, the chart says it all. I know Spencer's seen it. I mean,
we've talked about this.
Story stocks, guys. Check them out.
Yeah. All right. Money Mitch, 6 o'clock. Right now, I want to bring on Edwin Dorsey. He's got the newsletter. It's called The Bear Cave. He's at on Twitter at Stock Jabber. And he follows the short selling space to the point where he keeps track of all the short reports, who's shorting what, who's putting out bearish stuff and not shorting. Let's find out what happened last week. Edwin, how are we doing today?
Spencer, thanks so much for having me on. It's always fun to be on Benzinga, and I'm excited to be here with you.
I'm excited that you're excited. So we got a few minutes here until Tesla reports. So in the meantime, let's just talk about some short reports. Honestly, I don't really even remember, did anything of note come out last week? Because 2 weeks ago, there was a lot of stuff. But last week, I don't even really remember anything of note coming out in short report land.
Last week, Spencer, there were 6 new activist short reports. Some were really good, some weren't. Many were from like new anonymous short sellers, which I know you don't love because
my favorite.
They're anonymous. Do you want me to share my screen here, or should we just
for it? Let's do it.
Let's do a share screen. Let's do is it sharing?
Not yet.
Hold on. Share screen.
And you know what's funny is I don't know if you saw this, Edwin. There we go. But GSX is changing their ticker. Did you see that?
I saw that, and it's funny. I think oftentimes companies change tickers to screw over short sellers, because apparently when you change tickers, it's like you need to put your shares back in and then reborrow them, and it causes all this confusion and just makes it tougher for short sellers. So that's something I always keep in the back of my mind. Let's quickly go over, Spencer, the 6 new activist short reports. There's a guy, Bleecker Street Research, who was publishing 5 years ago, went inactive and just published again on retractable technologies. They make a syringe that can be used for coronavirus vaccinations. So if you look at like retractable stock, it was basically like, forgotten until like the pandemic, when it just took off because, people think it's going to be a good pandemic play, even though it's just a one-time benefit. The company, this is the Bleecker Street report, they got an $80 million government contract. It turned out that contract involved the sister of one of the company's executives, which call into question if it was like a legitimately obtained contract. One thing I liked from the short report is the author highlighted that RVP doesn't own the patents for the product, which makes up 85% of the revenue. Instead, they license it from their founder and CEO and pay him a 5% royalty every year. So the founder CEO has earned $50 million from these royalties, even though the company has lost money every year. So it's like one of those things you see in microcap land and small cap land, an executive getting rich while shareholders suffer. Overall, it was a pretty interesting report. I think the coolest thing came from the company filed an SEC exhibit, basically showing this is like the $80 million government contract. But in the SEC exhibit, they redacted everything incorrectly. So if you highlight stuff, you can actually like see what the redactions are. It's not like actually redacted properly. And there was one thing I wanted to show. There's like, there was a cost sharing agreement, and the company hyped it up being like, hey, the government's basically going to pay all the costs for us to expand our manufacturing facility so we can deliver these syringes. But then if you highlight it, it's actually that the company is getting like up to half of the cost, and the company itself is going to need to pay 50% of the cost of an expansion, which was kind of like different than what they were telling investors. And because they redacted the exhibit wrong, short sellers were able to find out like, hey, this company's financial obligations are a lot bigger than it seems. So that was probably like a cool thing just to see. Carousel Capital put out 2 Twitter threads on Nano Dimensions. It's a company I've talked about before. Basically, they're a 3D printing company that supposedly has revolutionized 3D printing. It's kind of questionable. Their long-term stock performance hasn't been good, but they've gotten a bump over the last year, partly pandemic related, partly because ARK Invest has taken a big stake. And basically from the bump, they've issued tons of shares. And in fact, of their $2 billion market cap right now, $1.5 billion of that is cash that has come from share issuances. Their revenue is close to negligible, like around $10 million. But what Carousel is saying is they just did a recent acquisition paying $70 million for a random startup that's related to 2 board members. And the reason that's important is it calls into question whether the company is going to use its cash to further the interests of the company, or are they going to use the cash just to acquire related party companies and in a way siphon money out of the company to executives? So this Carousel thread was interesting. Carousel put out a second thread saying that they've spoken to people who know the products and the machines were just, very low quality, and sometimes pricking up parts of the machine would just break it. So overall, an interesting report. Again, the $1 million question, or the $1.5 billion question for Nano Dimensions, is how are they going to spend all their cash? And the fact that they're acquiring related parties probably isn't too great a sign, Spencer. And I previously pointed out the CEO was accused of extortion. The former chairman had been arrested for money laundering and accused of securities fraud. They were OTC listed and they uplisted to the NASDAQ, and they did a 50-for-1 reverse split. All that is kind of questionable. Another anonymous report came from Kubiku. I don't know if this even counts as a short report, but this is a guy who's really active on Twitter, and I think it's one of the best Twitter accounts people can follow. This guy, excellent guy, tweets a lot of interesting stuff in the short world. He wrote about Clover Health and basically said Clover Health is not the next GameStop. What happened last week is there was this huge conundrum where some people were saying that the short interest in Clover Health was 140% of the float. And then everybody's like, oh, it's another GameStop. There's going to be a massive short squeeze. And the stock started spiking last week. That ended up not being true. What happened was FactSet. So this is some of the people saying there's 140.
Yeah, FactSet screwed up here.
Well, I wouldn't even say it's just FactSet. S3 Partners was the main person to screw up. What FactSet did is they incorrectly calculated the float, and they did this because the founder owned B shares, and they deducted the founder's B shares from the Class A share count. So the founder, there might be 100 million shares outstanding. The founder has 80 million B shares, but for whatever reason, they subtracted that from the A share count to make it seem like the float was 20 million, when in reality it was still 100 million. So the short interest in Clover is closer to 35% and not 144%. S3 Partners, I think, was the one really pounding the table about 144% short interest. And they were just wrong. I think, this has been more than the first time S3 Partners has put out questionable information. FactSet later issued a correction. There was a report from Eagle Eye Research. They're a new activist short. They put out this thread on Twitter. Again, completely anonymous. Just started a Twitter account and tweeted out a Google Drive link. I didn't know what to make of this. The main accusation is that Skillz is an online gaming company. You can download their apps and gamble in their apps. What Eagle Eye Research alleged is that Skillz, which recently went public through a SPAC, gives new users cash, like virtual cash, for signing up as a promo bonus, and then counts that as a non-cash expense. And then when the customers spend the virtual cash they were just gifted as a sign-up bonus, the company records that as revenue. So the company is recording like basically this fictitious transaction as revenue. You're giving customers virtual cash, they're spending the virtual cash, and the company's like, oh, we just generated revenue from this virtual cash. And Eagle Eye Research alleged that about 30 to 40% of its revenue was actually real revenue, and half or more of Skillz' revenue was this like fictitious giving free cash and then having customers spend it in the app. And that's really problematic because that could be overstating the size of Skillz' business dramatically. I didn't know what to make of it, though. It just, you know, if you're an anonymous person and I didn't know what to make of this. I just didn't.
Okay, well, we just talked about this before you hopped on here, and the stock is sort of. I don't know. Actually, I don't know. It's I was talking about Skillz, but I don't know. Never mind. I was reading while you were talking, and when I was just going through the Tesla numbers real fast, and
yeah,
the EPS beat 93 cents versus 79 cents. The sales beat $10.39 billion versus $10.29 billion. So a beat and a beat there. There's the pro for Tesla. A couple other things. Model S delivery should start very shortly. What the hell does that mean? I have no idea. Semi deliveries will begin this year. That's good to know. And that's actually a firm number that is valuable, as opposed to the Model S delivery very shortly thing. No clue what that means. Overall, the stock is just sort of undecided for now. It's going back and forth in the after-hour session, so no real crazy action yet, but I just wanted to mention that before we wrapped it up here, or since it was just out. Edwin, what else is on your radar from last week? Is that it?
No. Two more reports. They were okay. Travis Wiedower, who runs a hedge fund called Burford Capital, the most undervalued company he knows. Burford Capital is a litigation finance company. They fund corporate litigation and then get a proceed a part of any settlement. Muddy Waters said the company used Enron-esque accounting to estimate how much they'd earn, and that's what caused a big decline back in 2019. But since then, it's done decently, and that was just an interesting thing to see someone come out publicly on Burford Capital. Spruce Point published on Danimer Scientific, a SPAC that is trying to make a biodegradable plastic, so like plastic that you could that's better for the environment because it'll degrade quicker. But it said that the CEO has a sketchy background, that the former CEO is accusing the company of securities fraud and criminal or unethical activities. And they highlighted a Wall Street Journal article that also talked critically about the company's claims. And then Spencer, one more company I'd like to talk about, if it's okay with you, is Peloton. So I think the general perception is a little wrong here. The Consumer Product Safety Commission put out a warning to consumers to stop using Peloton's Tread Plus treadmill. I thought it was a really interesting warning. It comes on the heels of one death where a kid got like sucked under the treadmill because it's a little higher off the ground than most treadmills and ended up dying. And the Consumer Product Safety Commission has said there's not just one death, but there's 39 safety incidences in total where people have been hurt by the product. The commission also put out this really sad video, really just showing how a child, like here, gets sucked under a treadmill when it's going. And I think that video is worth watching for everybody, but I won't show it now.
Thank you.
And the company put out a statement going back against the regulator, being like, look, we've cooperated fully within this investigation. The regulator is blasting us, but it's unfair and misleading. And I think Peloton is lying. I think Peloton is just wrong in how they're portraying the incidents.
Why?
So in the initial response, Peloton said they reported the event immediately. They said we reported it immediately to the Consumer Product Safety Commission, which is the law. You need to report safety incidences immediately. That ended up not being true. The Washington Post later published that they waited a whole day to report the incident. And then not only are you supposed to report the incident immediately, you're supposed to give the contact info for the consumers to the Consumer Product Safety Commission so they can conduct an investigation. Peloton didn't turn over the information. And Peloton said, we resisted their demands for personally identifiable information for certain members because the members had specifically requested we not provide that information. I think that's kind of nonsense because if you read the Washington Post reporting, the family had hired a lawyer and Peloton also refused to give regulators the contact info for the lawyer. And then on April 12th, a month and a half after the death, the Consumer Product Safety Commission eventually sent Peloton a subpoena for the information. And an official told the Washington Post this was not a friendly subpoena. So it's like Peloton is doing all these little games just to kind of delay an investigation and say this like portrayed in a misleading fashion that I found odd. A nonprofit dedicated to consumer product testing called Peloton's actions outrageous and highlighted how the treadmill is different and why that's a safety issue. My favorite thing was Peloton in its statement said, here we go. The Tread Plus, I wanted to assure you, the Tread Plus is safe when our warnings on safety are followed. And the Tread Plus is not for children under 16 or pets, and you need to keep them away from the treadmill. But just a year ago, they needed to remove one of their ads because they had a crib in the background of their Peloton ad, and the crib was formatted unsafely. And it's just like, I am very frustrated with Peloton because I think they had a really good brand. And then the CEO puts out this statement and he's just lying. He says we reported it immediately, but they actually waited a day. He said we cooperated, but they didn't give the information for the family that was involved in the death and also didn't give the information for the lawyer of the family, which would have protected their anonymity. Until a month and a half after the event, after receiving a subpoena, the Washington Post had really good coverage on this that I think suggests Peloton was really in the wrong. He also ends the letter by saying, he also says in the letter that we have no intention of recalling the product. I find that so odd. You had one death and 38 safety incidences. You might think that a recall is wrong, but why would you say you have no intention? At minimum, you should say we're going to evaluate the facts as you come in, but kind of digging your heels in the ground so early and saying you have no intention, I don't know. It just makes it seem like you don't want to recall it rather than actually using data and information to make the right decision. So I lost a lot of respect for
Peloton. A couple of things, if I could just play devil's advocate for a moment. And Chad's point, one of them out is that the next day is considered immediate, right? I mean, that's the next business day with regards to Peloton's report. Second thing is, I don't know if this accident rate is unique to Peloton or, I mean, children are meant for treadmills generally, right? It's nothing about Peloton. It's treadmills are dangerous for small pets and small children. It's not Peloton. It's not a Peloton specific issue. So.
Well, I think it is a Peloton specific issue because as the Consumer Product Safety Commission points out, Peloton's treadmill is higher off the ground than other treadmills, which means there's more room to get stuck under if you're a kid. It's also designed a little differently where it's not just like one smooth belt. It's a rigid belt, which makes it there's a little more friction to pull you under. It is important to look at the data. I think there's roughly 8 to 10 treadmill deaths every year. And so far we know of one Peloton treadmill death. So, maybe it was a freak accident. I have a feeling, and if you watch the video, I think these are unsafely designed treadmills. I think there's going to be more to come out on this. I could be wrong, but I think there's more to come out. Another thing to notice about the stock is it's done super well. It's got this big boost from the pandemic because, people have been buying exercise equipment to work out at home rather than at a gym. As that laps, they're going to have a tougher time lapping comps because last year was so great. You had the benefit of the pandemic. Now you're going to maybe have some brand damage. You also won't have the pandemic benefit because gyms are open. You might even see sales decline compared to last year. So sometimes these like COVID stocks might overshoot and overprice these like one-time benefits. Same thing with retractable, which is like up a ton, even though the benefits are going to go away like in 6 months. So I find it odd. Peloton's one to watch, and you can count me a skeptic on it.
All right, there's a link up to Edwin's newsletter where he tracks all of the happenings in short seller land, thebearcave.substack.com. There is his Twitter handle up on the screen at StockJabber. Edwin Dorsey, always a pleasure. We'll see what happens this week, and we'll talk to you next Monday.
Absolutely, Spencer. Thanks so much for having me on.
All right. Let's agree to disagree maybe on the Peloton thing. For now, we'll have to keep our tabs on that story and see how it transpires. Let's go to Tesla here, if I can, for a moment. We have the Cannabis Insider Show coming up next, but I just want to talk Tesla here for a few moments. So, as it stands, the stock is down about what is that? $10 in the after-hour session. Closed at 738. We're at 726 as I speak, so down $12. Some interesting things I've seen from the report. First, Tesla always does this, where the press release was out at like 4:05, and they direct you to their investor relations page, and the page isn't updated, which is like a little thing, but it's annoying. First thing is they appear to have sold some Bitcoin last quarter, which is interesting. We know they finally added Bitcoin to their balance sheet last quarter, and they lightened up on the Bitcoin front, which is notable, I think. And I guess it's a safe assumption to say then that they're going to be actively trading their Bitcoin position. The semi deliveries headline I find is super important, right? Like that's a firm. I mean, it's not a firm date, but it's specific, right? This year, 2021, they're going to start delivering semis. That's important. Like I put more value into that than I do into this headline, right? Where it's like Model S should start very shortly, which I have no idea what the hell that means. I should start. We already knew the deliveries were good. That data was out at the way earlier in the month, so we knew it was a good quarter on the delivery front, on the production front. We just didn't know how good the balance sheet ended up being last quarter. And now we know it ended up being pretty good. Like this is a pretty good quarter, at least as the headline numbers are concerned, right? They made more money than the analysts thought on a overall revenue front and on a bottom line front. So both good news there. This is a weird one where you very often do have to dive in to the minutia of the balance sheet to see what's what, because Tesla has some funky accounting going on at that company, unusual to say the least. That being said, let me go to a chart if I can. An earnings beat and a revenue beat is not necessarily enough for the stock to go higher. It's not necessarily going to mean, the stock has to go higher, has to open higher. No, that's very much not the case. I will say more often than not, Tesla is up more often than not. If you go out 3 days after the report, so Thursday, Tesla, over the last 3 years, Tesla is up in average, I think it's of 3 or no, I think it's 4%. in the 3 days after an earnings report, going back 3 years, so the last 12 quarters. So that's something to note. But it is down a smidge here in the after-hours session. Nothing crazy. I would imagine the real fireworks will come on the conference call, which I think is 5 p.m. Eastern. Could be wrong on that, but pretty sure it's 5 p.m. You know, actually, there's no sense in me guessing, right? Let's go straight to the page and see if they have it. Yeah, 5:30 is the conference call. There we go. And there's your link. If you want to join, just go to the Benzinga Pro. It's right there in the press release. Either go to the IR page. It is on there too. Thank you very much, Shredder Man, correcting me in real time. So I'd be curious what the chat thinks of this. Right, like I said, high level numbers good. It's one of those things where the Bulls will find things to love, and the Bears will find things to sneer at. Right, like maybe the selling some Bitcoin, or the fact that they're not really they're still not profitable without regulatory credits. Things like that, right? Bears will find a reason to hate it. Bulls will find a reason to love it. That's just the way the stock is. I want to know what you think, though. I really want to know what you think. If you're watching, if you're in the chat, do you like the report? Do you not like it? Josh says not good enough for A. I agree, Josh. It is not good enough for A. Oh, for their market cap. Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing, right? Is the stock has gone up so much in the last couple of years. Let me just zoom out. You can, I mean, you don't need me to tell you that. Let me just go to a weekly. You know, the last year and a half or so, especially from the bottom of March, it's gone up so much. So yeah, I mean, that's part of it, right? Does the performance justify the valuation? And that's always been the question. There's always been two questions with Tesla, right? Can they actually scale up their delivery? And does the price, does the valuation, the market cap, is that justified by the balance sheet, by the performance of the company? Those are the two big questions. The production question, I guess, is mostly answered, right? Because we do know now that they have shown that they can scale up their production. But now it's just a valuation question. That's, you know, can he take it? Can he take, buying a stock that has gone up this much in the last 12 months? So I don't know. There's no right answer to that. Really don't know the right answer. But like I said, let's wait an hour for the conference call. I'm sure Elon will say some crazy things. He's liable to say some really weird stuff on that call. And he always gets asked some nice pointed questions. So let's find out more. We'll wait and see before we pass too much of a judgment if there's anything that comes out of the call at 5:30. I know Mitch will break it down on Money Mitch at 6.
I'll give you a little hint.
Yeah.
So a lot of what's being, what I liked in the report doesn't actually necessarily have to just do with the vehicle, guys. If
Sure.
people know there's solar kind of roof panels have been really starting to trend. And I think one thing that you'll find in the report that's even interesting is in that side, they have a product that the demand is so great, they cannot meet the demand for it. Find out. Money Mitch.
All right, we'll find out at on Money Mitch at 6. One more thing. I've just been advised that Benzinga's YouTube channel is 60 subscribers away from 90,000. 60 subscribers away. There are 320 people watching right now. If you're not subscribed, you could be the 90th subscriber to Benzinga on YouTube. If you're not subscribed, hit subscribe. You could be that magic round number. And if you are, and if you can show us proof, I don't know how you would. I don't know if there's a way to validate that, but if you can show us proof, send us a screenshot and I'll send you some swag. Yeah, me and Ty subscribed a long time ago. Well, you did it the right way. You did it the right way, but hey, not everyone is as smart as you. Sean Wilton can't help. He's already subscribed. They're not all as smart as Sean, unfortunately. But Let's see if we can get to 90K before. Aaron, I'm about to wrap it up, just so you know. Cannabis Insider is starting now. I hear him in the background, about to go live. So there we go, San Marquio. Hope I said that right. There you go. Just subbed. Shredder Man just subbed. Awesome. All right. Smash the like button, guys. Cannabis Insider is coming up right now. Have a good rest of your day. I will see you later on in the stream for making bread with sheds. But we got Cannabis Insider up.